Are you in the market for a banjo, a tenor banjo, and you don't want to break the bank? Introducing the cheapest tenor banjo on eBay. You can see it's considerably cheaper than its very similar looking alternatives. So I figured, why get the clones when I can get the real deal for half the price? I unboxed it very carefully, as you can see here. And it came with a bunch of extras which I was quite pleased with, including finger picks, this lovely little stand here. You can see it's a fairly well made instrument. Lots of nice bright work. We have a very fancy Caraya symbol on the headstock there. And on the back side, a lovely lacquer finish which runs up the neck. A little bit of a sunburn pattern there. Open tuners, and confirmation that it passed quality control. It's a little concerningly light for a tenor. So, first impressions. Doesn't hold a tune too well. You can feel the tuning pegs are really quite cheap, a little bit too easy to turn, like they're not very sensitive. The neck is quite fat. I think the E string sounds okay. Volume isn't too bad. The setup from the factory is pretty rough, like the strings are quite high. Also the neck, I don't know if you can probably can't really see that, but there's a lot of movement in the neck, so I'd probably have to tighten up the bar on the inside, I think. Even just doing that pretty much throughout the tuning. As for intonation, it seems, again, like the E string is not too bad. But then if we listen to the octaves, not too bad. Hear how sharp that is? An important disclaimer about the intonation is that if you move the bridge, you should be able to fix the intonation, but if you move the bridge and you still can't fix it, then it's a problem with the frets. The strings from the factory are a little bit thin. I don't think I should really be able to bend the note as much as I can just by the amount of force that I play, so listen to this. I can almost move a whole semitone just by how much I'm pressing on the string. The frets are maybe too high, or the strings are a little bit too thin. Like it feels like there's very little tension. It means that the banjo is quite playable, but there's not a lot of tension in the strings, and there's a lot of give. I don't know if you can hear it, but to me it sounds like it has a sort of metallic ring. Little bit of fret buzz there. Even though the action feels quite high, it might not be high enough for these strings or for these frets. Also, the G sounds a bit tinny and a bit dead, like it's lacking bass. That bridge feels like it's really high and it's quite sharp. I suspect that they've just used a regular 5-string banjo bridge. You could definitely do a whole lot worse for the price that I paid for this. It's not too bad. Not a big fan of the fret bars on that G. See this pattern. There's all sorts of cheap banjos going online at the moment from all sorts of different manufacturers that are essentially all this banjo, whether we're talking tenor or a regular 5-string. Same number of brackets, same type of brackets, same tailpiece, same skin. But it's what's on the inside that counts, so let's have a quick look inside here and see what we're really dealing with. So this resonator is pretty much, again, exactly what was in my previous little cheapy 5-string that I had. Lovely finish, but just painted black on the inside. You can't even see the original wood grain, so I suspect it's just MDF with some sort of veneer on the outside that's been really lacquered up. It's good and hard, which I suppose is good for resonance, but well, you can see just from me taking off that head how much play this neck has. So I'm gonna have to tighten that right up. Can you see how bowed that bar is already? That shouldn't be bowed. Another tune-up. Jeez. It's going out of tune because the neck is twisting so easily. See, I'll just twist that a little bit. And I'll twist it back. So we really got to tighten up that neck. It passed the quality control there. I love how there's like no ornamentation on this thing at all either. You've just got standard inserts. Nothing fancy there. Even the head, that is an inlay, but it's a blank canvas. You could do whatever you want with it really. So we'll just tighten up that neck. With that tightened up, it should hold the tuning a little bit better now. I'm going to compare this to a Deering banjo. So by comparison here we have the Deering Goodtime. See, nice bit of ornamentation on the head, bought in Western Australia. Deering branded skin on it. Bit of ornamentation up here. Even if it just has been lasered in, it's not like pearl inlays or anything, it's a little bit of something. You can feel weight-wise, there's a bit more to it. It's got a good solid bar in the neck, a separate tensioner there to attach the neck, which is good. You can hear that it's a little bit more muted, perhaps, than the Caraya or whatever it is. But hear how lively and bright that E string is. And very sharp attack, I would say. A nice, nice G. You can see by comparison the bridge is a lot finer and smaller than the Caraya. The neck is a lot smaller and smoother, so it's a lot easier to play, to be fair, than the Caraya. You can see the thickness in the ring itself. This one's very obviously a sort of layered ply. This one's just a bit thicker all the way around. Compare the bridges there. Big chunky boy and quite wide versus this little tiny but wide bridge. I think that makes a bit of a difference perhaps to the sort of attack.
The Deering is also 3 times the price, so you'd expect it to be made out of better materials.
My theory is that this could be a half-decent banjo. If I change the strings, I change the bridge, maybe change that armrest. It is a bit bulky and it gets in the way. Can't really do anything about thinning the neck, but I think I could probably get used to this neck. But all in all, you can't go too far wrong for the price. It's not a particularly loud or bright banjo. It is the cheapest banjo that you can buy on eBay. Came delivered to my door, what, $300? Australian? I'm mind blown, like it's not a terrible instrument. Lots of potential. Anyway.
Do I recommend that you buy this for your first banjo? If you don't have $1,000 for something better, but you do have a spanner in 15 minutes, just tighten up the neck and you're good to go. For an extra $20, you can get a nice set of strings. For another 15 minutes, tightening the head, and you'll have yourself a half-decent instrument. If you don't have any of those things, be prepared for much more of this.